Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I'm here to talk about TV 3.0 in Brazil, shaping the future of television. Big grand title for a big project. So I'm going to take you through what this journey has been, together with Carlos, who represents Globo here this afternoon. So a quick word about what TV 3.0 is. So it's the next generation terrestrial television in Brazil. So Brazil has gone through a number of different iterations of television standards, starting from the analog television into digital, and now another major number that shift from 2 to the 5 to 3 signifies a major shift, non-retrocompatible shift. This standard is even more interesting and worth of notice because it kind of started from a blank canvas and picked on the most advanced technologies across the whole stack, video, audio, presentation layer, application layer, to deliver to broadcasters and consumers completely new business models that were not previously possible in broadcast television. So this is why I do refer to it as the most advanced broadcast standard in the world. It is. It's going to present channels as applications like you do on your mobile phone. It's going to allow for personalization of content, target advertising, so both consumers and broadcasters will benefit from these new features. It's going to start at 4K P60, so it's 4K as standard. It's going to deliver immersive audio standard, and it deploys the most advanced video technologies like VVC and MPEG-5 LCEVC and HDR10 for high dynamic range as standard. So why do I talk about a journey? Because how do you go from taking a blank canvas, write on a piece of paper all the most advanced technologies and features you can possibly think of and deploy it? Right? And it was back in 2022 when actually right after the ratification of the standards, I had a call with the engineers and the friends now at Globo, and I heard from their own voices, how are we going to deploy this? What about we put together a showcase, a pilot for the World Cup in 2022? Well, it was March. How do we take all these new technologies, products that don't yet exist, and manage to kind of show pictures to an audience at the end of this year? Thankfully, they had some credentials, right? Globo is not the first time they do this. They've gone through multiple instances of delivering new technologies, new showcases, like 8K, for example, the first digital transmissions, when these events are happening. So they use events that don't move, so the date is fixed, like soccer World Cups, Olympics, to showcase this new technology. And that really drove our focus into kind of like putting together all of our efforts to deploy what we could in time for that specific events that give it particular relevance. So I can't take you through all of the examples and everything that we've done together, but I think the latest one is the Paris Olympics, where we took the products that were integrating these new technologies and put together a first showcase that actually put a channel on air. And I want Carlos, if you don't mind, to take us through that part of this long journey.
So, my name is Carlos Cosme from Globo TV in Brazil. In here, I'm trying to summarize our latest showcase, which was done last year for Paris Olympic Games. So basically, I'm going to this part. So I'm trying to represent here what we did. Basically, Globo has the rights to transmit the show, to transmit the Olympic Games in Brazil. That's why we bring the feeds from IBC to our headquarters in Rio de Janeiro City. And we took a sample for this signal to power this experimental TV 3.0 environment. So we create a master room, focus on TV 3.0. We assemble the data center with the equipment, and also we had 2 lounges where we demonstrate some experience. The green one, what we call TV 2.5, is our current standard based on the ISTBT, so we did some showcase to that, but the main focus was in the second lounge, the blue one, where we deploy and make the showcase for the TV 3.0, which is our next digital terrestrial television system that's going to be deployed in Brazil next year. So basically here, the data center, just to illustrate to you, is composed by those 2 racks where we put all the equipment. Some of them are hardware running on-premise software. Some of them are just virtual servers hosting a lot of virtual machine to do some of the key points for the key logical flux that we need for this whole end-to-end chain using TV 3.0 technology. As I mentioned, at Globo, we built this master room. It's not yet in its final form, because we have some ideas how we are going to operate TV 3.0 inside the broadcast facility. So there is a lot of that we need to experiment, that there is a lot that we need to understand to give the full potential that TV 3.0 can deliver for our viewers. So that's why we start with this master room in this layout, and after Paris Olympic Games, so we are improving month by month this room with more capabilities. Of course, not to do this kind of showcase, we are not supposed, or we cannot do alone. So we had, as Fabio mentioned, a lot of, almost like 1 year before, like talking and engage all the ecosystem with all the partners in order to together deliver all the technologies for TV 3.0. So these here I just represent all the partners that were part of this showcase for the Summer Olympic Games. This is the launch for TV 3.0. As you can see, we separate, or better, we split the launch in spots where we have some TV brands showing the recent TV 3.0 technologies in their prototype TVs, and the most right spot we have another tower where we have some set-top box prototype running the TV 3.0 technologies. Everything was done in a live operation, so we were receiving the signal from Paris, we were encoding using all the technologies and make the live demonstration in this room. And what I'm saying here, so sorry for a little bit of Portuguese, but basically for us in Brazil, TV 3.0 means, from the quality perspective, 4K with HDR, immersive audio with personalized features. So that's, I would say, is the core base for TV 3.0. There are other points that I show you in a moment, but this diagram here tries to summarize all the functional blocks that we need to assemble, test, work with all the partners in order to accomplish the end-to-end chain, in order to deliver the TV 3.0 showcase for Paris. So you can see that we received the live feed at the most left, and then we had the encoder pools, we had the orange service, orange server, where we also add some VOD clips. And in order to reach the media players, so TV 3.0 is supposed to deliver the signals both using OTA path, over the air, using the regular radio waves that everyone do, but also TV 3.0 can deliver feeds over the OTT path. That's why we have this double approach to send signal contents to the media player. On the OTA path, so we will be familiar because we are using the same technology for transport layer that is being used here in US, dash plus root. And the physical layer, it's a little bit similar for the physical layer that is used here in the US. The main difference for us in Brazil is that we decide to adopt MIMO, So we are going to transmit the signal using horizontal and vertical polarization at the same time. We are using MIMO together with LDM, meaning that we are going to put two servers on the same RF spectrum, and also we plan to use TXID. So TXID for us in Brazil will be a feature that we will explore to create clusters of RF coverage in order to that cluster send some personalized ad breaks. Okay, so we are going to try to use the TXID to make this differentiation for the whole ad break for some clusters in the whole coverage area. So that's a key point for us. That's why we are pushing to have MIMO together with LDM together with TXID. And of course, we put the signal on air. So we use like a prototype MIMO exciter and a MIMO receive that was kindly provided by the South Korea institute called ETRI. It was one of the partners. And then we receive this signal in that TV 3.0 launch. And here there is another difference from the current system deployed here in US and the current system that is deployed in Brazil, because TV 3.0 is supposed to send the signal to the viewers, and the viewers are supposed to use indoor antenna. This means that we are planning the coverage area for TV 3.0, fostering the usage of indoor antennas for all the viewers in their home. Okay. So most of the other systems normally they are planning to use outdoor antenna, which will be not the case for TV 3.0. And as Fabio mentioned, we change our mindset about how to do TV, and that's why we are not called anymore channels. So for TV 3.0, there is any more channels. Everything is app-based, and with the app will be the key point, or how can I say, the orchestrate of how to present to the viewer these 4K HDR video, this immersive audio with some option to make personalization. But this app is supposed to also make other offerings. So here is the first prototype for the app that we use for the Olympic Games, and then we are trying to illustrate here how these apps work, where this app can be found, and it's very basic. Once you turn on your TV, you have the TV home screen. There are going to be an icon with the logo for TV 3.0, and this logo will be the same among all the TV brands. Once you click the logo, you go to the second screen, the TV app home screen. There you can have all the broadcast station apps that were mapped when you scan the RF input during the television installation. And once you click in any of those apps, of course, the first thing you are going to see is the presentation of the audio video, and then we can have some experience. For instance, here we are using like TV Globo experiment app. We call Central de Notícias, would be like news gateway, where you can ask the app to catch some additional content from the OTT path. And then you have other features like the most on the right, where we can select what kind of commentator do you want to hear for this content. Or you wanted, for instance, in a soccer game, you wanted to listen to the commentator A, which is neutral. We wanted to listen for the commentator B or C that can be prone to team A or team B. So those kind of personalization will all managed by this application. So as you can see, the application is the king in present all those experience, not only the audio and video, but I would say the multimedia experience to the viewer at their home. And of course, here there is a lot of work to do, because we are also look to how to present this in a UX that will not annoy the viewer by the end of the day. So this is our work on programs at Globo at this moment. And here is what we call the segmentation, geographic segmentation. And here is where the TX-ID and the LDM plays a key role. So you can imagine like two stations, station A and B, both of them use like LDM, but station A has this enhanced layer using, for instance, content orange, while station B has the LDM carrying the content green. So the receiver, the viewer A, once we have the ad break, so both viewers are watching the same program, which is the first bullet here on the left. But when it's time to the ad break, the idea that we are fostering in Brazil is that we can offer different ad break for viewer A, and this ad break is being carried over the enhanced layer in the station A, while the viewer B can have a different ad break, which is carried in the station in the enhanced layer green. So in order to do that, the TX-ID has a key role because it will allow the receiver to know from which stage I'm going to receive the signal in order to see if the app should or not switch to the ad break. And this application we call in Brazil like geographic segmentation. I think for here in the US, from what I'm hearing, people call a little bit more like local cast, but by the end of the day, it's the same objective that we are targeting for the viewers. Again, those are the peoples, a lot of colleagues from Globo, a lot of colleagues from Vinova, from Hof, so all the partners who were there during the whole Olympic period. They helped to assemble everything, test everything, debug everything, and make this operation run smoothly during the Olympic Games. Here's just some photos to illustrate the repercussion that we have in news. Our CEO, CTO, they also went there. But here I'm hand to Fabio.
Yeah, thanks Carlos. I just wanted to add one thing. Stay if you want, I mean, we can close together. I think if you see here more than Paris 24 is because if you think about it, this was quite a feat, right, in a short amount of time to kind of bring together all these new technologies. But if you were coming here at NAB 2024 and you were going to ask any of the vendors, encoders, TV, SoC providers, set-top boxes, do you support this immersive audio? Do you support these new codec technologies? Do you support this new physical layer? The answer would have been no, because the standard was brand new, and how, you know, the purpose of this really was to build this ecosystem. So like it's quite an extraordinary feat, I think, to be able to assemble something that for the length of the Olympics can 24/7 live deliver, right? Yep. TV 3.0, a new standard, albeit in a confined environment. So, but as I say, the purpose of this for us, as we know as a technology vendor, but also for Globo, was to build the ecosystem, right? To ferment the integration of these technologies inside the products. And this is why it didn't stop at Paris. We kept promoting what we did in Paris at various trade shows, at IBC, here at NAB this year, because we want to build this ecosystem. And we're starting to see progress, right? We see it in the press, fair enough. So there was resonance with the trade press. We see it percolating to other standards. So ATSC here in the US now has the A345 specs that supports the LCEVC and the VVC video codec technologies that Brazil needs and the profiles that Brazil needs. So it's come to the US as well. And if you, 1 year on, so NAB 2025, here I put our booth if you want to come and see it. If you go now and ask the encoder vendors, the set-top box providers, you know, do you have products? They may say yes or no, but it's certainly in the roadmap. So I think the impact that these showcases have had on the ecosystem is that actually this technology is now being presented. I have there 50 odd logos, but there are more vendors that are putting in this roadmap. I put a picture here, but I think we can show.
Yeah, that's the.
It's not just a picture of a set-top box.
It's here. It's real. So we have like a box, and yeah, that's the receiver that we have in its final form. Of course, we have all the technology here. VVC, LCEVC, MPEG-H, HDR10, roots, dash, everything in the same box. So we are demonstrating the box at the Vinova booth. So yeah, it's real. So it's not just a picture. So it's real.
And there are pictures coming out, right? So if you want to come and see it at the booth, and this is again, it's not been an easy feat. But again, the target was not NAB 2025, right? So there is further progress coming from Globo and other broadcasters in Brazil.
Yeah, like everything that we have been done is like step by step to hit the targets, the final targets. So the final target is commercial deployment. So right now at Globo, we are at April 2025. So 2025 for us in Brazil will be the year for a large-scale experimental operation. What does it mean in practice? Right now in Rio de Janeiro City, we are deploying 2 high-power, high-tower stations using everything for TV 3.0, transmitting the signal with VVC, LCEVC, MPEG-H, put this on air using the MIMO system. We are even using the new spectrum bandwidth that the government decided to allocate to deployment for TV 2.0. So the whole year for 2025 is to allow us, broadcast equipment providers, to even fine-tune more everything working together. And in this roadmap, we have those 2 stations from Globo in 2025. Next in the line, the government are going to deploy 1 station in August 2025 in São Paulo City. And then by the end of the year, in December, the government will also deploy another station in Brasilia, which is the capital of Brazil. So you are going to have like the 2 big cities in Brazil with stations to do tests and experimentation, and also in the capital of our country to show to the government, look, this is what we are constructing together. And us from Globo has a very commitment, a very targets that's not moving, and this means that the next World Cup, which by the way will be here in US, so in June 2026, Globo will transmit TV 3.0 using a commercial operation station. This means that for us, in that date, there are no more experimentation, there are no more tests, it's just 24/7 commercial operation using everything that we have in our standards for TV 2.0. So that is our roadmap, that's for what we are targeting. So
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And if you think about it, not just to repeat how we started, right? I mean, it all started, you know, with a phone call in 2022. What if we do the World Cup using products that don't exist fundamentally? But with a clear target of taking us to the next World Cup with commercial products using technology that is not available in any other standard anywhere else. So I think it's a long journey, and we can obviously discuss it more and more in detail. The Paris was an important milestone, but can I give you a glimpse of a little bit how to build an ecosystem and how to take new technologies to market. So that was that. I think we have still a couple of minutes on the clock here, so we're happy to take any questions. I'm going to sit down, but take any questions if any of you have them. I have one.
When you roll it out commercially, what will be the price point for the viewer to be able to get the system so they can use TV 3.0?
Okay, I think the question is for you. I just repeat it, if that's all right. So the question is about, for the consumer in the home, so what's the price point? How much they're going to pay to get TV 3.0?
Yeah, like this is right now, it's a work in progress, because what we are working right now is to make and enable the MIMO demodulator. And when I say MIMO demodulator, we are targeting the small LSI chipset that need to be soldered inside the box. So we still don't know the final price because this small chip is still under plan. Our commit is to have this done before the World Cup. What I can say is that as every new technology, we will have like probably, or most probably, a high price, so not affordable to everyone. And then we will start to work to reduce this price, to make the product even more affordable to all the people in the country.
There is to say that I think Brazil, I think, is important to stress. It's an OTA first country still,
Yes.
right? So I think it's in the interest of the broadcasters and the consumer electronics manufacturers to hit a price point that satisfies the majority of the population.
Yeah.
65-70% of people, families still consume over-the-air television, right?
Yeah, it's different from here. Like in Brazil, the biggest part of the market share is not with the OTT service. It's actually with the OTA service. But in order to compete equal by equal with the OTT, one of the main reasons is to have TV 3.0. It's not only about to deliver a better signal, a better quality picture. It's kind of, we need to enable a new business model that will increase the revenue of making free-to-air TV and enable us, the broadcast, to compete equal by equal with the OTT platforms.
Yeah, I think we have time for one more question, if there is.
I have a question.
Please.
Yep.
How many households are you targeting, maybe in the first 1 year of full commercial deployment, 3 years, 5 years, or how do you want to?
Well,
And I repeat the question for if anybody. So I think the question is, how many households do you think will receive TV 3.0? Are you targeting kind of year 1, year 2, year 3?
Yeah, we have these numbers inside Globo, so I just present there the 2026. I cannot make public the numbers, but what I can really make public is that after 2026, year by year, Globo, together with its own affiliates, are committed to increase and spread the coverage for TV 3.0, not only to Rio and São Paulo, but also to other cities in Brazil. So that is our commitment.
But in Rio and São Paulo, what is that, 60, 70 million, roughly, I mean, like an addressable market?
Yeah, a little bit like that.
A little bit like
Yeah.
that. So this is scale.
Yeah, it's just Rio and Sao Paulo obviously are big, kind of very populated areas. There is 100,000 homes that will receive OTA in Brazil, and of course Rio and Sao Paulo are a big percentage of that. But as Carlos said,
hitting those two cities, you are hit like a very huge market share from Brazil. So those are our biggest cities in Brazil, actually.
Okay, one quick one, because I have like 2 digits now.
From marketing agencies' perspective and also customers' perspective, how they are accepting or checking the possibilities they might have with the final consumers within the TV 3.0?
So you're saying, if I understood well, the question is how are broadcasters going to market TV 3.0 to the consumer? And
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, first we have an official logo, and this logo will be like is spread in the box will be the same in the home screen for all the TV sets. What we have called so far SBTVD also has an official name that I didn't mention, but is DTV Plus. And how we are going to going back to your question, is like we are put so much effort in the creation of that application, because the application in our vision is the key to engage the viewer to continue consume our content. And together with that, we can offer, for instance, experience like shoppable in order to try to sell things over the TVs. We can offer, like for Globo, for instance, we have the free-to-air TV, but also Globo has other products that we can offer over the internet feed. As I mentioned, TVT.O is not only about to send over the air, we can send also over the internet.
Thank you. I mean, myself and Carlos will be here a few minutes. If there are any other questions, we can take them offline. But
Yep.
Thank you very much for listening.